is it so hot in here? Hello. Ow. You guys are in for a treat tonight. This story was, again, one of the earlier ones. This story came about from, it was actually the narration of another person. And the story itself too, but mostly it was her. And the narrator was Stephanie Swan Quills. And she was doing a story written by Empty Real Invective. And the story was called Solomon's Key. And it was the story was a really simple story about somebody summoning a demon. And the banter between the two characters was really, well, Travis is a really good author, so the dynamics between the two were just spot on. But it was Stephanie's delivery that really brought this character that, from my story. And my story is called What Is Your Pleasure? And again, it's the same thing. Well, the same type of theme of a demon and a human interacting, one wanting something from the other. Mine takes a little bit different turn in which it becomes a game, whereas he has to guess her name in order to get what he wants. And if he fails, then he becomes her servant. And what's interesting about this one, again, I wrote it based upon hearing Stephanie's delivery of this other story. And this is probably one of the popular narrators that had did a story of mine. And so this is the first one. This is the first one that I had submitted to somebody that was relatively big. And I was so nervous, and I was like, hello, my name is Derek Hawke, and I heard your narration of this story, and I thought it was brilliant, and it really inspired me to write this story, and it would just be such a big deal if you would at least consider looking at this story. Well, she loved it. And when she did it, she embodied that character completely. How I heard the voice in my head with the inflections, she nailed it. It was like she read my mind. It was really cool. Now, this story is written in a different way. I'm not really sure what you call it. It's not exactly first person. It's kind of like monologuing, I guess. How I wrote it is just from, you only hear the one character. All her responses and interactions with the other character are just responses to what she sees, or you don't even hear his voice. And it's just her response and her reactions to his responses. I guess that's the best way to explain it. But I loved writing in that style. It's interesting, and it's different, it's unique, and it's fun. And when I wrote this, she's probably one of the most fun characters to write, because again, there's very witty dialogue and funny insults. She just tears this poor kid apart. Anything and everything that she can use to insult him, she does. So the plot of the story is basically he's come to ask her for something, and in order for him to receive this, whatever he wants, he needs to guess her name. She has, so she gives him 3 riddles to solve. All of them are clues to her name. And so throughout the story, you find out what her name is. Now, the interesting about this is the first time I've ever written anything close to poetry. I think it came out really good. And they're all clues to her name. And we do find out what her name is. And when we find out what her name is, that's when the story takes a very sinister turn, and you really start, this playful, kind of mischievous character actually has a very potent streak of evil in her, and you start seeing that. And it's a really cool little twist. As far as the riddles, though, I'll tell you that nobody has ever guessed all of them. I think maybe 1 or 2 people have guessed the 3rd one. The 4th one's not really, that one gives it away itself, but the first 2, nobody's ever gotten them, so I'd be interested to see if anybody can lend some some guesses, even though you do learn what her name is. But they're these riddles that are representative of what her name is, so they're kind of like not exactly the same. But you'll hear, you'll listen. I don't want to give it away. But it really, the ending, I think it's a fantastic ending, and you feel a little bit uncomfortable at the end because you're really challenged with, is my soul really safe? And I don't want to give away any more, because what her name is and what she truly is really the meat of the story. And it'll catch you by surprise. It'll catch you by surprise, and you just have this uncomfortable feeling at the end. It's just because how you, well, I'm gonna put this. Don't be complacent in thinking that your soul is saved. It might not be, and you don't even know it. So that's kind of the little twist in there. But tonight, you guys are we'll forget about uncomfortable feelings, because tonight is a really special night, because not recently. There's a whole other story behind that, but I have another narrator who is taking a shot at this story, and she's just fantastic. So tonight I'll be releasing the version that Duchess Dark did for me, and it is just brilliant. It is brilliant. She's actually done a couple of stories. I actually proposed a story to her. I think it was the year before, the fantasy trilogy that I did, and it was fantastic. And she has this, and I don't know how to put my finger on it, but she has a very unique way of delivery that is just, it's sophisticated, it's intense, and elegant. It's incredible. She just, like, her and Stephanie are just on this pedestal that you just can only look up and just bask in their greatness. And you'll see what I'm talking about if you're not familiar with Duchess or Stephanie. But having said that, she just knocked this out of the park, and it was probably one of my favorites. And it's been a long time. I felt really bad. So I had asked her to do this about a year ago, and she turned it around very quickly. And I was working on it. I wanted to do kind of animation. I was kind of playing around with that, but you need like super power freaking HAL computers to do that, unless you want to be rendering the damn thing for like a day. And so I had the audio, and then things just started falling apart, and it was just like one thing after the other and after the other. And before I knew it, I forgot where I was. Like just all discombobulated, and I forgot about that recording. And I recently stumbled upon it, and I was like, I felt so bad. I'm like, especially after I listened to it and how good it is. So I diligently worked on getting the artwork done and the animations that I do, and putting it together, and it's finished, and I'm so happy to release it finally. If you're not familiar with the Duchess, you will be tonight, because this is a fantastic reading. You're just going to love the hell out of it. So I'll be uploading that very shortly, and in this video I'll be leaving links to Stephanie's version that she did, and also the story that inspired me to write this one. So you guys enjoy, and I will talk to you later. Bye.